Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt, here, Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Una.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Tooties, Lanish Trahan.
Will you give us a prayer this morning?
Stay. Thank you for all the gifts that you've given us, the resources, our people. I want to thank you for all those that put themselves in harm's way for all of our people, our law enforcement, our military, our health workers, those that provide for our education of our youth, our teachers, and other counselors. I want to pray for those that are sick today, that they get well. We pray for those that have lost loved ones. Their sorrow diminishes quickly. We'll pray for good decisions today. We review and look at all of the items that we need to, and we pray for everybody to have safe travels and stay warm in this cold weather. We do all this in your name. Amen.
We have minutes. Go ahead, James.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I made the correction that it was Roman Santos. So I sent that on to Abby. Thank you.
Thank you, James. From anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 11th with
Motion by-
corrections.
Motion by James, accept the minutes with corrections, second by Tom. All in favor?
Before that very last motion on the last page, Jennifer was off the meeting already, but I think we already accepted everybody. I wasn't sure if she was here for that vote or not for that last one, but I could be wrong, so we'll just leave it. But she left early before we adjourned.
Are you voting for then?
Yeah.
Unanimous, thank you. We have an agenda for today. Any additions to the agenda? We have one walk-in. A small list. Tom has a list. Motion to accept. Martin, second by Tom to accept the agenda with additions. All in favor? Form. Phone on, we'd appreciate that. Yeah, just push the button right there by the talk. Nope, the one right above that one. There you go. You're perfect.
Okay. I have a few issues. I was not going to say anything, but I've had other elders talk to me and give me their views on. I was talking to Leonard, and my concern is you guys hire, or the elder program, or whoever hires independent snow plowers. They get paid a lot And for the past couple years, I think that you guys should set standards for them, make rules on what they have to do, or, because they only come up and do once. And I live in a woods, and I have a hill that you got to go up like that. And I got stuck the first day after it stormed. I got like over a foot of snow. And when I called, they said, oh, well, he'll be there when he gets there. So the next day he didn't show up. My kids had appointments, and I made it down. And when we got home, I got stuck, and he still didn't come. So I ended up having to pay Dragon Wagon to come tow me out. And then a couple of my neighbors came by, and they had a snow blower and a shovel. So they shoveled my driveway out for me. And I ended up paying them $50. And then when I called the elder program to find out what was going on with the snowplow, they said, oh, he'll be here by the end of the evening. I said, well, it's already too late. I already paid somebody. I said, but you guys need to make sure he doesn't go in and try to claim that he did my driveway. So I think that they should have regulations, stipulate that. I think that they should get off and meet the elders, because some of us are set in our ways, and we want. Last year they blocked my car and they pushed the snow right behind my car. So I was out there by myself shoveling it to get my car out of where they pushed the snow. And they didn't even do, this year he didn't do it very far to where, like if anybody comes up, they end up getting stuck, and me and my grandkids have to go out and push them out, because he didn't push the snow. He only did it at the end of my house. So, and it gets deep there. So I think that they should, plow where we need it plowed, and then let us know so we can move our vehicles so they can plow where we park. So what's the use of them, plowing if they're not going to do a good job and they get paid good money for it? And so I think there should be regulations on, doing it more than one swipe, and plowing, letting us know where, to move our cars so they can plow where we park. And I think that they should, at least have a thing stating that they did go and plow that residence. So they can't claim, saying that they did somebody's house and then not do it and then get paid for it. So I think there should be some rules and like regulations on how they should go about. I mean, every snow plower should do that. That works for the tribe.
I think they were supposed to contact the person that gets plowed to be able to sign off to be getting paid. I'll have to look into it. Does anybody know required to do? Because that's what that used to be. They wouldn't get paid if they didn't have it signed off by the person that was getting plowed. Go ahead, Martin.
I don't believe that's a rule. I don't know why or whatever, but it's not.
I agree with Mary.
Pay good money, and if they want to earn that money, they should, do a good job and not just, do a shitty job and then expect to get paid whatever they're charging. You guys know that they did somebody's driveway if, they don't keep books or tracks of, what they do. And that's why when I called the program, I told them, I said, well, you guys he better not say he came to my house. He better not say that he did my driveway, because he never showed up. He never showed up at all within them 2 days. And then the second night, it was already nighttime, and he said he'd be up after, that evening. And I was so mad. I just told him, well, I already did, had to hire somebody to come and do it, because I had over a foot of snow up at my place.
Wow.
And
I understand that. I was snowed in too.
And
I totally agree with you, Mary.
and I think that they should have the elders that are handicapped or the ones that live in the woods, that they should get to them first, because the downtown people, you know, they don't get as much snow as we get up in the woods. And I think that they should make, you know, people a priority like that. Like Tom Ant's, his daughters told me that it took them 3 days before they got up and did his driveway. And then my cousin made $5 over, and so they told her she wasn't eligible to get her driveway plowed, and she lives in the woods. But I figured at least for the winter time, you guys shouldn't be picky about what elders needs help. You guys always say the elders are the most important people on this reservation, which I don't think is true. Because, you know, some of us don't make enough money on our Social Security or disability. I make $900. I had to take care of my grandkids on that 900 since they were babies. I finally got custody, so now I get money for them. But still, it doesn't go that far because of the economy. And so at least for the winter, you guys should take under consideration, no matter how much money they make, we're still elders. We can't go out there. Joe Cluya died from shoveling himself out of his house. You know, and that, I mean, that's sad that, you know, we have to, you know, sit and some of us hold our feelings and complaints to ourselves because they don't think anything's going to get done if they do complain. But I've heard enough from people that to where it got me mad enough to where I thought, well, you know, I need to say something, otherwise this is going to continue.
In, Mary, and please come in even before you get mad about it.
Yeah, well, I think I said, oh, Carol and Len ain't here because they already know how mean I get. So I told Martin, I hope you guys had a big breakfast. We might be here a while.
But no, I totally agree, and I will follow up and find out exactly what rules they have and what rules they don't have. Or Patricia, want to say anything?
This is Patricia Kershane, and I will follow up with Diane. I am not in the office right now, as you can tell, but I know Patricia Hibbler is there and she can speak as well.
Use for the snowplowers?
I do not know. So I know that there's an application. People have to fill it out. There is some qualifications. Patricia, you probably know the qualifications that people have to meet. But we do have other budgets to use for snow plowing that we're doing. And my conversations with Diane is if they're not qualifying to be in the elder program based on the guidelines that you have in place. And some of those are guidelines that are placed upon us by the funding, right? So there's funding restrictions, and that's where the income guidelines probably come from. But there's other budgets for us to use. So we're using the seasonal budget to support people with snow plowing. And we should be out there doing everybody that we can. So that's what I'll follow up on.
Thank you, Patty.
You bet.
And I have, I asked them to plow in front of my mailbox because they won't deliver my mail, you know, if there's snow in front of it. And they said, oh, we can't do that. And I go, it's right in my driveway. It's still in my driveway. And they go, oh, well, we can't do that. And I said, well, if I get out there and have a heart attack, I said, I'm having my family sue you, you know, for not, if I go out there and shovel and have a heart attack, because my oldest granddaughter that stays with me, she just turned 14. And my youngest is 12. So I'm raising a 12, 13, and 14-year-old. And they help me as much as they can, but they tire out because they don't have muscle. So I kind of try to push them more, but they tire out and they think I'm working them to death, as they say.
Please don't go out and shovel and have a heart attack. Please don't do that.
So last summer I had to mow my own lawn, and I didn't wear a hat or, do anything. And I went out there, and when I went in, I about fainted from heat stroke. Because I didn't bring water out there with me or anything, because my dogs would get to it and run off with it. And
My grandma would have chastised you.
And another thing that I want to bring up too is older program too. I don't know. I know that the maintenance people throw away the toilet papers when they clean. And I have elders that say that they need toilet paper. And I figured if you guys could have the maintenance save the toilet papers that, aren't used all the way, that I could pick them up or something so I can deliver them to the elders that need them, that need it. Because I had a couple older ladies that in their late 70s that said that they tried to come and ask the elder program for toilet paper, and they said they couldn't help them. But I figured with toilet papers getting thrown away from the maintenance, they could just be saved, and then like Pam Antisse or whoever I know, they could collect it, and then I could pick it up to bring to people that need it. I never take the meat, but I don't know what it is. Is it 5 pounds a month or 4 pounds a month? Something like that.
Yes, it's 5 pounds a month.
Okay. Because with that too, if I don't use mine, I give it to, somebody that can use it. And too, a lady had told me that she went in to go get her meat, and they only gave her 1 pound of burger and said that was all she was getting. And I said, well, did they say if it was the last one or if they ran out? And she said, no, they just told me that was all I was going to get. And she has grandkids that she's raising. And so I told her I'd bring it up to see, if they run out of meat, then, they usually tell me. But I don't know why she said she only got 1 pound for that month when she needs it, because her provider, her husband, had passed away. And so she only gets disability. Thing is, like with my house, I have leaks all over my roof. And one is coming from my skylight, and the other is from my, in my hallway, it has a fan where it circulates air from outside. And that's leaking. And I did get approved for a roof, but I probably won't get it till the spring or summer. And I asked if they could come up and at least seal them, and they said that they're not supposed to be crawling on people's houses or, doing stuff like that. But I'm scared that my skylight keeps leaking, it's going to fall in. They said it's kind of soft around it. And so I got like 2 places that leaks. When the heat comes on and the snow melts, it starts dripping inside. And, and I figured if they could at least crawl up there and seal where the leaks are. And also, with the plastic for the window, they said they have the plastic, but I can't go outside there and, get the plastic up over my windows. And my windows, I have really bad drafts coming in because my windows, it's supposed to be double pane, but I've had that house since 2010. And now you can't even see outside the windows, even if I wash them inside and out, because they're starting to leak on the inside. So I have to put thick curtains on so I don't feel the draft coming in, because my light bill gets pretty high in the winter. It gets like over 400 a month in a winter. And then in the summer, it goes up to like over 200-300, and I don't even use electricity. So, and I kept telling them that whenever I turn a light on, I'd get shocked, or if we plugged in our, sure it would knock out the electricity. And I told them that when I moved that, turn the box to turn it back on, the box moves. And they never checked into that. That's a few of my complaints. And
Mary,
yes,
can you tell me who they are that you asked to do the roof and check on your electricity? Is it elderly maintenance? Who was it?
yeah, the elderly maintenance, one of the young guys that worked there. And
Okay,
he said that he wasn't allowed to crawl up onto the roof or anything.
but you never talked to Dan, the supervisor, correct?
No, that guy said he talked to Dan, but he said that they couldn't do it because they weren't allowed to be working on your outside of your house or crawling on roofs or something like that.
Okay. I will do a follow-up on that, and then right now I'm checking on your ARPA application to see where you are with that, and I will get back with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, Patricia, are you still on there? This is Jim Alter. Hey, I've had other complaints about this, elder, maintenance people that they're not wanting to do anything. I mean, I think you ought to follow up on the maintenance crew that's working for the elders, because they're not doing anything for the elders. I've got other complaints. I didn't want to say anything about them yet, but, these people need to do their job. There's, and also on this meat, I've taken meat to a couple elders that couldn't get up here, and they've only given them like 1 pound. I mean, they should give whatever they're going to give for the month. They need to give it to them. And if I have to pick it up and take it to R. Lee, they ought to give me the whole 5 pounds to take down there. It's just some people can't get there. And then this, Mary here with this snow issue, this is a big issue. These people can't get out, and they can't afford to pay a tow truck to come up and get them out. That's expensive to do that. They need to follow up with these people, with the crew, and she's right. They need to put sanders on these plow trucks, because once they plow them, then they turn into ice. It's just, they need to sand those roads. Thank you.
We don't do sanding, Jim. We don't have sanding in our budget. We have never done sanding in the 12 years I've been home. That might be something that you may consider as a body in a group, but in the 12 years I've been home, we have never had sanding done on any roads through elderly crew. As to the meat, it's 5 pounds. We give out 5 pounds, and I've got Diane on my other phone. I'm texting back and forth with her, and I'm and asking about it. The plower for that area is LD. So we're gonna do a follow-up with him on Mary's snow plowing, and I will do a written, or have Diane do a written explanation to Patricia today.
Patricia. I think we gotta start talking, about some of these sanding issues. I mean, these sanders, they make them for these trucks. I mean, I don't know what they cost, but I think it's something that we need to look at because, there's people that live on these hills that, man, it's pretty dangerous once they plow them and they turn to ice. It's like a skate rink. It's terrible. So we need to consider doing something with these sanders or get one sanding truck that'll go out and do these elders because, like I said, they can't afford to get a tow truck to come in there and take them out.
Agreed. That would probably be a executive conversation that we would have outside of this conversation.
And you,
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for coming in. I mean, this ice thing has been an issue since I've been on council, and it's going to continue to be an issue, as my coworker, Mr. McDonald, points out all the time with our ever-changing climate. And so, Patricia, if you see a need, you need to bring that forward in your budget request that, we're starting here. And a lot of the elders program comes from the rental from or not the rental, but from SKQ, which I don't think are as attached as some of these things that you're saying. And so that we'd support the elders, but it seems like you're afraid to come forward with a budget request for things that we need, and put sand on the need and put it in your budget and bring it forward. And if we can do it, we can do it. And if we can't, we'll trim it or whatever else. But again, this is 5 years in a row, this has been an issue. And we haven't figured that out yet.
Is Harriet Molitor, and this is my auntie. She is all I have left from my mom's side. So she is the last sibling from my mom's side. I go out and I help my auntie as much as I can. And she does. She lives 12 miles out of Polson, out on Rocky Point Road. So once you get past Kings Point, and then you get past the cattle guard that used to be there, her driveway is the first driveway once you get past there, and that's about a quarter mile from the cattle guard. So when you get out to my auntie's residence, you'll take that turn and you have to go up a little hill. And yes, it's a little hill, but mind you, this little hill will take you down quicker than most. Once that snow hits and it just becomes nothing but a sheet of ice. And I have been out there at my auntie's numerous times during the winters here, and I've even shoveled her whole entire driveway. There was one time that nobody went out there and did anything for her, so I got upset and I went out and I shoveled the whole driveway from the top all the way to the bottom so my auntie could get out. And she has called the elder program and complained to them numerous times. And I know this because I've been there at times that she's done it, and then also to where she's contacted me and told me. And this last time, what really irritated me the most is when she called to complain about the snow that had hit, she had already gotten 2 feet of snow out there, and nobody had went out there. I couldn't even make it out there to her. And when she called the elder program and spoke with whoever it was, and I don't know who it was, I don't believe she remembers who it was either, and was complaining about what was going on and how much snow and about the drivers. The reply that my auntie got and what irked me was they turned around and told my auntie, they'll get to you when they get to you. All they've said to her, and that's what it got put, and that's what really pissed me off, Easy for our family these last few years, I've taken a hit really hard. I lost my son back in 2020, here on this road. I built it. That's what irritates me the most. But to know that, you know, the elders get treated the way they do, and even some of my friends that are elders down in St. Ignatius, I've even seen some of their posts that they posted and complained about the snowplow drivers. And like she said, if they're making good money or getting paid decent money to do the job that they're getting paid to do, then they should damn right do it, you know, because like she said, some of these elders cannot get out there and dig. And Francis Cluya, one, you know, he was a close relative of ours, you know, and for him to lose his life the way he lost it, that's very pitiful. Or Joe, I mean. But it's just, that's all I'm saying is hear the elders, because like she said, everybody's saying, well, the elders are the most important to what we have left of our tribe. Well, she's one. And this is what I hold dear, because she's all I have left of my of my mom, my auntie, my grandma and them. So, I mean, I hold her very dear and very close. I try to protect her as much as I can. I go out of my way numerous times. But there's so many things that needs to be addressed out at her place that she's asked for and has never gotten an answer for, or they've never even addressed the matter. And so, yeah, just, you know, listen and take into consideration of what the elders really, you know, have to go through sometimes, because it's not easy. And for my auntie to get up here and talk, because she's not that type of person to do that. I mean, you have to push her to the limit to where she's doing what she's doing now. And I'm not the type of person to get up here and speak in front of anybody either, but when it comes to my auntie, then yeah, I'm gonna, because I don't appreciate how she's being treated and stuff. And just hear what she's saying, please.
The program also needs to look at, it's just not, you know, the meat that they give. If nowadays grandparents are raising their grandkids because of the drug epidemic. There's a lot of elders that I see are raising even newborn babies on them to feed them, you know, especially if the parent won't sign over their rights. And we have no way of getting help for them because we don't, you know, for me, it took my daughter, or it took me practically 15 years to get, you know, to finally get enough money to come in to take her to court, her and the kids' dad, in order to get custody, since I've had them since they were all newborn. And the elder program, if they have extra meat in what these families that they know have, you know, grandkids, then they should give them at least a little bit more meat. My niece, she works at potatoes, so she gets me potatoes, and then I share it with my friends, you know, that anything, I'll bring bags of potatoes to them to help them out, because I know they have families. A few of my concerns.
I do have Diane on my phone that she can respond to some of these concerns.
Good morning, everyone. On the meat situation, we were at a point that we didn't know if we were going to have any. So we did make a statement that there was a possibility because we weren't able to get the bison. We had made contact with NRD a few different times. They didn't know. Finally, we got a hold of one of our gentlemen that does elk, and he was able to get us about 6 of them. We've ended up having to go outside and work, deal with some of the ranches to try to get some actual beef. So we've struggled, but we've always gave the 5 pounds. We were going to have to get down to not having anything because we weren't sure by the first of the year. We haven't, but we ended up, and so they've gotten 5 pounds every single time when they come in. Some of them, it's kind of weird because we even weighed them because we weren't sure how it was. Some of them are coming in 2-pounders, and then some come in 1-pounders. So I think, and I know some of the elders got a little bit confused about that because it looks so different because some of them look thick and some of them are long. But I've got, we've always gave it. And then when it comes to the snow plowing, the snow plowers have requested, because they are contracted, they want the elder to contact them because they said that they want to know what the complaints are so they can fix the issue instead of us being secondhand and calling out to them. They want to know what the elder actually has, their comments and everything. So they've asked us to give numbers. So what the snow plowers have did this year, we've got a door knocker with their numbers on it. So after the snow plower plows, he puts the door knocker on there for them to make contact with any kind of comments, complaints, or anything to them. And I know with the one that we're talking, I did call out there. I think Ashton and I both have called out there. And we were going to send a plower out. And I asked if she wanted to talk to the plower. And she did. She refused to talk to the plower and then told me that never mind, that she had someone come out and snow blow her driveway.
The snow plowers never ever do come into the door, and I don't even know when they come there. I'll go outside and then it'll be swiped once. And then they end up, when they plow, the snow builds up behind my car that I have to shovel it out to get out. The snow plowers never ever do leave a note or even talk to you or nothing. They come up and leave, do one swipe and they're gone. So they've never ever put a door knocker on there. So that's full of shit. That's BS.
So you've never had contact at all with the snow plower?
Nope. They don't even let me know when they're there.
And see, and that was this year, what went on. This was the first year that we did it, that they were to make contact with you guys and give you a door knocker to let you know who the snow plower was and who to contact if you had any issues with their snow plowing.
Yeah, I was so mad that day because it was 2 days and they said they weren't going to be there till that evening when I had already gotten stuck. So when the neighbors came and offered to plow or snow blow it, I said, yeah. I said, because I didn't think the snow plower would ever show up. And I have grandkids that have PT twice a week.
Okay.
But I have 2 of them that go, and that's why I had called to ask when they were going to show up.
And I know when you guys call, each and every time you guys call, I contact the snow plower about getting out there and getting to you guys. Anytime that any of us receive any kind of a call from you guys, we contact the snow plower. If it's not when we're talking to you, it's right after we talk to you. And they always comment back that they'll get out there. And I know this snow really got our snow plowers. I mean, I think some couple of the plows went down. It was a hard one. So I know it took about 2 to 3 days to try to get everybody on there because we have 5 plows for about 350 driveways. And so it was a little bit harder. Mary, I did not know that he did not give you any door knocker or anything. I had no idea.
And that's why I'm saying you guys need to make regulations and because they get paid quite a bit, good money, that they should be able to do their job better than they do for us.
I agree.
I'm her niece, and I'm Harriet Molitor.
Uh-huh.
And I agree with her. I mean, they should be coming up and knocking on the door and doing a courtesy knock, letting them know who they are and what their job is supposed to be. But this driver, this snowplow driver that you keep talking about has not even attempted, let alone went up to my auntie's and did her driveway. Not once. And I'll tell you what, when Keith McCrae was working with the elder program, he went up there and he made damn sure, and this was a couple of years ago, he made damn sure that my auntie's driveway was plowed in the front and in the back. He went to her door. He told her, this is what I did. He asked her, is this okay? You know, he went out of his way and he went to her and told her and showed her. And yes, and it was nice. It was a good job, you know, but this snowplow driver, whoever he is, you know, didn't even attempt to go out to my auntie's. And this was when we first got this first snowfall, 2 feet of snow. My auntie was snow plowed in. That's what upsets me is my auntie is up there in age. She can't be getting up and doing any of this shoveling herself. And I try my hardest to get out there and help her as much as I can. I will literally hitchhike if I have to go out to my auntie's to go out and help her. Like I said, she, you know, I know my auntie can be a handful. Everybody knows that if they know Mary Left Hand or Puya. I mean, everybody knows that. But when you push my auntie to the limit to where she is right now, upset and talking about what is going on, she is telling you straightforward what is happening at her residence and what happened so far. And so far, nothing has been addressed, let alone even the snowplow driver went to her door to tell her who he was. You know, yeah, I mean, if these snowplow drivers, I understand the area and how many residents and how many driveways. I understand that. But yet, you know, you're talking our elders. Now, if you're in my position and you have an auntie, you know, her age, or, you know, you love her as much as I love mine, you would be understanding where we're coming from and what I'm trying to get across.
And
I don't
it's
normally
not-
do this, but
It's not just me, it's all the
all the
elders that I've
elders.
heard from. They've all been complaining about from Mission to Arlee out to Alamo. I've heard from elders complaining about the snow plowing.
All
And
we're
that's why I
asking for
said
is
you
just
you guys need to make regulations to make sure that they're doing who they say they're doing and that they have proof that they shoveled their driveway without saying they did and then try to go get paid and then not do it.
That's like saying, okay, me going to a job and doing a job for 8 hours and really not actually being there, but getting paid for it. You know, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And like I said, you know, if they're making decent money or getting paid good money to do a driveway for the amount, whatever you guys are paying them for, at least make sure that they're doing it, please. I mean, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking you to do is to make sure that whoever the snowplow driver is doing his job properly. Because my auntie stays, like I said, 12 miles out of Polson. And then when you get past that Kings Point and past that cattle guard, and she lives out in the woods, and once that snow comes down, she's buried, literally buried in that driveway unless somebody gets in there and gets out. You know what I mean? That's all I'm asking. And my auntie can't afford to be paying a tow truck driver to get her out again. That costed her 150, almost $200 out of her pocket. And like she was saying, she lives on Social Security benefits. She's been raising her grandkids ever since they were babies, ever since they've been babies. Grandparents are raising their grandchildren now because I'm doing the same thing with mine. I'm raising my son's family because of when I lost my son. This isn't easy for grandparents.
I agree.
My auntie to be getting up here and complaining and telling you guys what needs to be heard. I mean, just hear her, please. That's all I'm asking is please hear what she's saying. All we're saying is please make sure that your drivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing because they're getting paid for doing a job that technically they're not even doing. Just like she had trouble with her van. The elder program helped her, GHRD helped her with her van, paid a mechanic over here at Quicksilver to fix my auntie's van. Do you think he fixed it? He got paid decent money for it, but she's still having the same damn problem that she was having before. Hear what she's saying. That's all I'm asking you, please.
Eric, I will call in snowplower today to come in here and talk to me in regards to all the snowplows up in this area. I will call both contractors in and I will talk to them about the issue that you had and what you needed to have done so we can work on getting this better.
Not this snowplow that comes up this way, but I think it's all your snowplow drivers.
We have
Because of numerous complaints I've had from elders that don't want to come and talk. They're, you know, they think they're not going to be heard. So when I told them I was coming here today, that's when they start telling me all of their complaints. And they all said, well, we hope you can get this settled because they're upset, but they don't want to say anything.
Thank you, Mary. I think we've heard that, and I can add a few of those kind of complaints that I've heard as well from over on the west side. So Patricia and Diane have said that they will follow up, so I'll follow up with Patricia and Diane.
Okay.
For coming.
Hopefully this gets fixed or changed or something.
Yes, ma'am, and don't hesitate to come in. Don't wait till you're mad to come in. Come and tell us.
Oh, yeah. All right. You guys have a good day and thanks for hearing me out.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Be safe.
We've got Patricia and Diane on still. I just wanted to follow up. That was going to be mine to follow up on Len's request yesterday about Mr. Barnaby down in the agency. He had some frozen pipes and was denied services. Len had sent an email to Patricia Hibbler and Jordan, but I don't think Diane or Patricia Crochane had received that. So just wanted to make sure that he's on the radar and we can find a way to get him helped out. His pipes were frozen up, and if we can get him some water or even some heaters to help get him thawed out. He has no transportation, so it's not like he can go to the store and buy some extra heaters or get some of those supplies he needs to help himself. So Patricia, did you catch that by chance?
I did, and Diane, do you know anything about that?
I do. I talked to Patty yesterday evening, and I was our maintenance crew didn't feel comfortable about going down there without Martin because Martin never did make contact with us.
Okay.
But we were trying to get a phone number for him so we could make contact, so we could kind of know what was going on more. And Patty hasn't gotten back to me because we did try to get him on the program. He didn't get denied. He just didn't want to do the paperwork. So what we were going to do is, while the guys were down there helping him unfreeze his pipes, we were going to do paperwork with him at the same time, but I just haven't gotten a phone number for him so I can contact him.
Thanks. I'll reach out to his son and see if I can't get the best phone number for the family down there and maybe reach out to Lynn, because I think Lynn has it. So thank you, Diane.
Is there anything else on elders while Diane's here, and then she can also address the sanding that issue for Martin?
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mike. Patricia, this is Martin Charlo. Do you guys still have the program where you guys go out and actually shovel people's walks, like elders' walks or anything? I know that used to be in place. Is that no more?
Nope, that still is. Right now, we've been trying to get our wood out, but our chore workers have been going out there when, like, we went down to Arlene and had to do one. And we did, I know because we don't have sanding, but our guys with our one elder needed it. So they hand threw sand on the driveway trying to get it to unthaw because it was thick snow. It was dangerous for them to go out there. But our chore workers try to get out there when the people are calling in saying that they need their sidewalks done.
And then the budget, we did put sanding in the budget for the last couple of years, but never got it. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. And I mean, when we wouldn't have a sander, so it'd have to become probably back onto our snow plowers to get that. So on the main roads, I talked with Scott Johnston because I know a lot of them was about the main roads. And he gave me a map of like the different roads that they can do. Cause I know that was a lot of complaints, like up in Chalai on the main roads, that they were just completely ice. And he was the one that was going to go up there and sand it. And I don't know if that's a possibility that we could contract with them to try to do something. I'm not sure.
Those are the BIA roads, am I correct?
Yep.
Mm,
Yep. Yes.
Which we're not allowed to do. It has to fall underneath him.
Yes. But if you have anyone that is needing their waffles done, please have them call us because we don't know. Because there's some that have their family members do that. So if you guys do, we can send our boys out there that as soon as possible to get that done.
I have one question. When we do have a heavy snowfall like this and flowers are backed up and knowing they're going to be late, is there any policy in place to call the folks that they are dedicated plowing to let them know that they'll be late or give them an idea of when they'll be there? Is there any sort of communication requirement there?
When we give them their names, they get the phone numbers and they get the addresses, and they are requested to call them and let them know kind of what is going on. Give them an idea, and we try to get them an idea. We call the plower, and and they're saying that this is going on, and then we try to get them to get out there and tell them, because I think we kind of have one snow plower per area. And so I just call the contractor, and he takes the word, and then it goes out to his plowers.
We did not get, we have struggled. I think Diane and I can
Yes.
both say we have struggled for several years in getting snow plowers to apply to be snow plowers. And so that's why when she says we only have maybe 3 or 4 plowers for 300 homes, that's what we have, because we are not getting people to apply to be snow plowers. And so my recommendation and is what we're going to do is we're going to meet with the snow plowers and see if maybe we can set up meetings with the elders. And the elders meetings, I think, to mitigate some of that might help as well.
Because this last year, we advertised for snow plowers for almost 3 months. And originally we only had one contractor that contracted, and we talked another one in to try and help, because it is hard for 4 plowers under one contract to do reservation wide. They struggled last year, and this year the snow just really did an impact. So we did get a second plower, but we have never had more than three contracts on these. It's just been a really difficult struggle to do this.
And then the one in the Dayton area is retiring and cutting back.
Yep. He only that's one over in Hot Springs. He said he has done it enough, and he's only doing Dog Lake now.
Len is on. Len, do you have a phone number for Martin Barnaby that you could give Diane?
We'll be getting it to you, Diane.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other
problem.
questions for Diane?
I think we're ready to go to our regular agenda, so I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You council folks that wanted to have an issue, but I think we will go to our regular agenda and then we'll pick those up. Steven, you're up. Come on up. In your car?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Motion by James to approve adding me to the list of delegates. Second by Jimmy. All in favor? Or with Tom and Martin out of the room. Thank you, Stephen. Oh. Yes. And Len and Tom out of the room. Unavailable? There, John, we can't hear you if you're talking. There's John.
Good morning.
Morning, John. Go ahead.
Yes, Digging Roots Grief Counseling, I would like to request that we go into a contract with that company. The company is owned by Sarah Dempsey, and she's an LCSW certification. She's also a CSKT tribal member, and I'd like to have it as a sole source. And the reason is she has specific training that for specific grieving. We're not looking simply for counseling, grieving counseling, or psychotherapy. If that was the case, we'd do it internally, but we'd like to do this contract to for the specific purpose of servicing specific services, extensive specialized training in grievance. And the model that tribal health is seeking is evidence-based, short-term processing of acute or prolonged grief associated with past or associated with loss and bereavement. The difference between normal grieving and completed grieving, and referring out of more in-depth mental health needs outside of our of grief. And anyway, she has those talents, and that's pretty much covers. Oh, and she also specializes in training with individuals, couples, and family work.
Mr. Chair, I'd make the motion to enter into a sole source with Digging Roots Grief Counseling.
Motion by Martin to do the sole source contract with Digging Roots. James, all in favor? Or Tom and Len out of the room. Can you hear us, John?
Yes, I can.
Okay, your contract
Sometimes,
passed.
sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. I don't know if it's going in or out or what's going on with it.
Well, your contract is passed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. did he? Morning, Irma.
Okay, I'm here to present the April 2nd, 2025 per capita resolution for approval.
Motion by Martin to approve the resolution for the per capita, April per capita. All in favor?
Christian?
6-4. Tom and Len out of the, Len's 4. 7-4 with Tom out of the room.
Christian, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Irma, when I had a tribal member asking me if they got a 1099 on the per cap, and I said it's not countable for income. It isn't, right? I gave her the right info. Okay, thank you.
We're to your org chart, Patricia.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I have two changes on the org chart. One at the very top on social services is the directive to move that worker up underneath Marcy. And then one is under finance or grants, which is incorporate that grant for TCIP and state. Just to add those two.
Jennifer?
I didn't get a copy of the org chart, so that's why
we're-
it's not
we're-
in your packet.
We're not seeing the org chart.
I sent it to you in an email, and then I also put it in the
And on base, it said error on both of your attachments that you done for this issue and the Casey family issue. It would not go through. It would not let me open it.
because it's Visio, right?
Must be that's the reason why, but I couldn't open it.
That's why I asked when I did the email to you was, do you have Visio? Because I can ask, I'm sorry, I'm not in the office. I can text Yvette, have her run it over while we go into Corky's issue if you want.
That would be helpful.
Okay, I'll do
With
that.
that-
I didn't know you didn't have it.
Thank you, Chairman. Patricia, 2 weeks ago, we had discussed adding 2 positions to the finance team. Not having seen the org chart before, just want to verify that those are added to the new org chart that you're asking for approval for today.
I never agreed to those 2 positions. I asked for data, and I've never received the data to support those 2 positions.
That wasn't the conclusion of the discussion that we had. So I think we need a clarification on that, Patricia.
Reschedule this? It
That's-
sounds like there's some
And I also-
discombobulation here.
She had 3 agenda requests, so since I didn't get the backup for the Casey one, they are scheduled for next Thursday. So the main
Can
one
we-
today
can
is
we-
Corky's issue.
Can we reschedule the org chart till next Thursday? Appreciate that. Corky?
Thank you for meeting with me today. What I'm here today for is we operate the Flathead Transit route between Whitefish and Missoula on 7 days a week. We are actually running into some issues that we feel that, and we could drop this. We have a contract, a yearly contract with MDT, Montana Department of Transportation. Of Flathead Transit for us, we feel is taken away from our local transit. three people that work under Flathead Transit could definitely move over to the local transit and help us out more here than on the road. We receive $190,000 a year to operate Flathead Transit. That doesn't quite cover all the expenses. So we take it out of our tribal transit dollars to cover those expenses, which we wouldn't have to do that if we were no longer doing Flathead Transit. Right now, the current contract ends on 6/30 of 25. And the funding's coming up now to do the application for the funding. That's why I'm here today. So we do about 400 miles a day. And that comes up to about 150,000 miles a year. For one bus that covers, that's FTA would rather have you just operate your buses at 150,000 miles, get rid of them after that. We do it in a year. So we'd be buying a bus every year. We kind of keep them a little longer than that, so we don't have to do that. But we just figure that we're just kind of running into, and we can't hire drivers quick enough with background checks, all those other things that come involved with that. We average 5 to 7 riders a day between Missoula and Whitefish. Maybe a tribal member a day, maybe. But more or less, we're helping Montana Department of Transportation out with this transit run that we feel that we've kind of got. This is getting too much for us, and we just the way the times are, hiring drivers. These 2 drivers are experienced. They'd love to come back over here and work Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, then running 7 days a week. This time of the year, it gets the issues on the road. We have a driver in Whitefish at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Roads are terrible, and he has to go clear to Missoula. It's just kind of putting us into I figure, a safety issue. Just the way the traffic has got more sloppier on the roads, for unsafe. They're cutting the drivers off. It's just a lot more issues coming on that highway than there. And in the summer months, it just really gets crazy. So we'd like to drop the Flathead Transit route and just more focus on our local transit. It's not going to hurt us on funding for our F5311 route. It would just be the Flathead Transit that we would not apply for. MDT would have 3.5 months to figure what they need to do, because we'd operate that. We'd finish out the contract till 6/30 of this year.
James.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Corky, for the report. I was wondering if I'm supportive of what your request is. If we have tribal members or folks in our area that maybe once in a while have a request from here to go there, would you entertain that?
Yes, we would.
Yeah.
Yes. We would still go to Missoula and Kalispell. We even still have doctor appointments in Whitefish or Lolo, wherever they're at, Plains. We still offer those. I mean, we still do those
Just not
rides.
that regular long.
7
So
days a
the most
week.
you have is like average of 5 on that?
I think the most we've ever had, we had a busload a few times, but that's very limited time. That's more of around the holiday type of thing.
Yeah.
Kids are going back from school. Those are the bigger days we've had, but realistically, it's 5 to 7 ridership a day.
Over the average.
That's the average, yeah. I'm saying right now, we're probably close to 7 all the time.
Yeah.
Usually 3 up or 4 up to Kalispell, Whitefish, and then 2 or 3 going back.
The same people usually?
No, it's a whole different group.
Variety.
I mean, variety.
The thought I have, Corky, is I'm kind of distressed to hear that we're supporting that with tribal dollars to start with.
Tribal transit dollars. It's a grant that we received.
Oh, I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that, but you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You're right.
And I don't like seeing that. But is there any amount of money that would save the route? I'm wondering if you just apply for 3 times the money and actually advertise and get more people, and they'll come back saying, well, we can't afford that. And you get right to where you want to be. They can't afford that.
They do allocations. So they do this from the previous year's activity or the 2 years. I think it's 2 years activity. They do that funding. So this is really what the funding they have for this route.
Understood.
And so that's where we're at with the allocation. We could ask for more, but I mean, usually when we do our allocations, they give that to us in December or January. And so we have to figure out what we can do with the money that they're giving us. If we ask for more, I don't know if they have more. That's the reason why we already have this.
I understand that. I'm just looking at, we should make money at it if we're gonna do it for them.
Correct.
And so if we could hire 10 more people because of the money they'd give us, I'd be happy to actually do that.
We've
But-
been at this level for a while. So, you know, it's with wages going up, the funding's not going up, and we just figured that this was maybe a time to part. You know,
Oh, I understand that decision. I'm with you. I'm just wondering if the other avenue is to say, hey, double your money and we'll keep your route, but otherwise we just can't do it.
yeah,
That's kind of where I'm at, especially if it would put other tribal people to work.
the situation we're in, there's only three people that we have two drivers. One works Monday through Thursday. The other driver works actually Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, he drives for us locally. The other driver works Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that covers the whole route. So and those two trade back and forth when they take days off. That way, they help each other up. They're taking a week, but that's where we're at with that. So there isn't much more room to hire anybody else. We have a ticket agent that works under Flathead Transit. So those three individuals average $20 an hour. That's $120,000 a year. And we're getting 190. So we're taking 120 off just for wages.
I know,
And then
but
fuel's about $40,000 more. So then you're 160. That leaves us $30,000 for maintenance and all those other things. So
well, you said that one of the major expenses is to buy a new bus every year.
we're going to have to. Well, we haven't had to for a couple of years because we had some extra buses that we've been using to get the miles up there. But still, next year we're going to have to buy a bus, and they're $200,000 now compared to 120 when we bought them 5 years ago.
Go ahead, James.
Thank you. Corky, how long have you been running that route?
2014 is when we started.
2014, okay.
And the data the ridership has never increased, decreased. It's been stat average for a while now.
Thoughts?
Well, the grants due March 3rd. I have the budget, I just have to put it in place if we were still wanting to go the same direction we're going in. I have that about done for review for contracts and grants. And it's an annual thing that we do every year. But really, I just need to know if I need to apply for this, because it's due March 3rd. Funding won't come available till July 1st. So that's where we're at with that. But I'd rather give MDT a heads up that they could look for somebody differently. I don't know if anybody else can even want to do it for what we're getting paid. So.
Go ahead, James.
Corky, what about just doing it not every day of the week? What about some kind of scenario where you just, like Allegiant Airline just flies to Vegas on certain days?
Right, Monday, Wednesdays, yeah.
Is there any way that may work?
We
or-
have thought of that, just doing
Yeah.
it 4 days a week. But I don't know what the 4 days we'd work, because people gonna be stuck in Kalispell or Whitefish, a day longer than they can afford or whatever happens. I mean, we could do that. But do like 4 days a week, but still, I don't know if MDT would want us or Jefferson would want somebody doing it 7 days a week like we have been doing it, but they're not paying us enough money. So
Yeah,
it's.
I think that might be your pushback with them. Say, look, we might be able to do it on, I don't know what days seem to be your busy days or your heaviest days. I don't know if there's one day that's.
Fridays and Sundays, Mondays, maybe, and one time during the middle of the week. I've thought of this, so I've looked at data across the board of what day do you pick and what day can somebody actually stay in Whitefish an extra day. It's expensive to stay there one night, so to have somebody come in on the train and they can't get out of there till the next day or 2 days later, that's where we're at. And
Yeah, maybe part of it is a way you can just talk to them and say, hey, here's where we're at. Council's supporting you to, if you have to not file, then you're not filing, but they gotta consider, we're not making money. I think you're right. I just wanna support you, and if you have to go and talk to them, say, hey, here's where we're at. Consider not filing, and, cause you know it better than we do as to what might work, what might not work. You guys might be just tired of it and say, hey, put us back.
Put us back to the local routes, and they're
Yeah,
working
that-
Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, and that would help our local ridership up too. We wouldn't think we'd have a lot less complaints. It's with the third person's a ticket agency that would be a part-time driver also. So that adds 3 to our list now, drivers. That would put us in a lot better shape than we are trying to get background checks. Takes 6 weeks to get a background check, 2 more weeks to get a UA. It's 2 months down the road was our last driver.
Yeah, and the way the
And
president is.
it's hard to keep somebody saying, yes, oh, we'll get back really quick, on our UA, but it doesn't happen. And it was 2 months last time. Lucky the guy stayed around. He's working for us now. But if we did that every time, I don't know. It's tough to hang out for 2 months.
2 months on a UA?
A UA and a background check.
Oh, okay.
Montana, they tell me that it takes them less than 2 weeks to get a background check for them. Yeah. A UA, I can see where sometimes if they're hiring firefighters and stuff like that, because all of our tests get sent to Spokane, not here locally, because they're a DOT drug test, so. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that, where we're at. We've been struggling with this thing. We've been working with Jefferson Lines. Leanne has been working with them, trying to get refunds, the ticket agent says from their sides, and we get the reports, we don't get the reports, they don't match up with our numbers. So it's been a hassle for them too. And Leanne was gonna come, but she got a couple phone calls she had to take care of. But those are just issues that we are having with Jefferson Lines, not with Montana Department of Transportation. So there's more issues than, this happens on a daily basis.
I'm trying to think, Corky, would it be helpful to just maybe have a council action just to say, go negotiate or at least talk to them?
That'd be something like, if I could do that, then I could see where we're at with the funds but we're still, like I said, I'm encouraged to have the drivers here to help us out locally.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be a benefit for our membership and phone calls.
I definitely don't want to subsidize another program.
Yeah.
Daniel. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, can you hear me? I was wondering, Corky, have you worked with SK Gaming? It seems like if there was more advertisement about travel from either one of those communities to the resort, and maybe that could pick up the ridership a little bit. And also, I know the Veteran Service in Polson, they have a quick turnaround on their background checks and fingerprints, and so I don't know how they do it, but only took 2 days to get that done. But I guess that's a government agency. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that working with SK Gaming might be, and them doing a little more legwork too to advertise it. So thank you.
We have worked with them, but really that route has to stay on the route for hour wise and for time wise. Because we have to pick people up at, let's say, in the afternoon at 4:30. That's the time we have to be in Kalispell, heading south. So, we do stop at Kentucky and pick up people going south, north and south. We already stopped there. We don't get very many riders out of there in the first place. Most of them are going north from the Kentucky. We do stop at Gray Wolf if they do call us and say, we have a rider here. It doesn't happen very often. So we do stop. They do know that we stop at their locations. So we have done that. We tried to work with them in the past and it just didn't quite work out with that route. It'd be better off to be with our local route.
Yeah, the only thing is I haven't heard is Quatucknuck advertising anything like that. So, I mean, they have a bus, but why not advertise a little bit? But anyway, thank you.
And then additionally, we have drivers that are aging that are looking at retirement, and we want to make sure that we are looking local rather than outside of tribe for our drivers and keeping those contained locally and not outsourced.
I guess we'd entertain that motion that James was talking about.
Yeah, I make a motion to allow Corky to negotiate it, if that is the right language,
That'd be
to negotiate, what do we have here? Could you put that back up on the screen, his issue paper, please? motion to negotiate, the route for interstate route. Yep, what Corky said. My brain went.
Got a motion by James to allow Corky the authority to negotiate the intercity route for the transit program.
I'll allow him the leeway to not be involved with this if it doesn't make sense. If they don't come to the table with something else, just give them the authority to say no.
Yeah,
and inform them early.
absolutely.
I would consider that part of the negotiation.
Yeah.
Before the grant is due on March 30th.
Before it's due on March 3rd. All in favor? On. Oh, there we go. 2, 4. Tom, out of the room. Abby, on that last vote, it was 7-4 with Tom out of the room.
Got two eagle out there.
10:30.
10:30, it's in Kusum that's selling baked goods.
We've got a request to fill a slot at Shoreline. Motion by Martin to install Ambrose for the duration of the position that the term is still open. Second by Bing. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Martin. Come on up. You bet.
Navajo, yate. John Wayne says yate hey.
Yate hey.
How you doing?
It would get recorded if you actually would turn the microphone on. You'd be official.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Chelsea Kleinmeyer. We're from Tribal Health, as you know. We have Jonathan and Cecilia Nez with us. So Jonathan is the former president of the Navajo Nation. His wife, Cecilia, is going to be our keynote speaker tomorrow at Go Red for Women. And so we just wanted to take this opportunity to bring you lunch and to have Jonathan and Cecilia meet all of you.
Well, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the council and your executive team and your staff. We are honored to be on your lands. Thank you for having us, and appreciate Chelsea for inviting us. Well, actually inviting my wife. I'm just carrying her bags today, these next couple of days. So you now know who the real president of the Navajo Nation was, right? These past few years. Yeah, we transitioned out of the Navajo Nation government 2 years ago. And we, of course, our elders, we always challenge our children to go get an education, get a college degree, and then bring that information, bring that knowledge back and help the people. And I think we did that, my wife and I. We went to school at Northern Arizona University, got our degrees, went home, and we thought we would give back for a few years, but 18 years of public service, from being a councilman all the way to being the chief executive of our nation. And it was a good opportunity. I met many of you throughout the time in office, and it's good to see you again. We recently took on another challenge. We ran for Congress in Arizona for Arizona's Congressional District 2, vying to be the first Native American to be in the U.S. House of Representatives for Arizona. We gave him a good run. There was a big, as they call it, red wave that happened. I was a Democrat. We weren't successful, but I think the network of ours grew a little bit more, and which brings us here this week as well, is to really advocate on the health and wellness of our people, indigenous peoples and Indian country. You know, we look forward to sharing, you know, a little bit about ourselves and also what we've been through during those 18 plus years in office. So thank you for having us. And my wife here, Cecilia, can introduce herself. Oh, by the way, I know that there are some Navajos amongst us. The leadership of the health agency here. I am Ashin. Just mentioning my clans and saying thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Chairman, members of the council. Cecilia.
Good afternoon. My name is Cecilia Nez, and I grew up in a place called Big Mountain on the Navajo Nation. And so, you know, speaking at the Go Red for Women on women's heart health, that's something that's been, you know, that's something that's always been a high priority for us, just healthy families, healthy tribal nations. And then now we're partnered with an organization called Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and it's all about nutrition. And so that's really how we met Chelsea. And so, but now I did a lot of work around families and children, right? The home and the family, that whole environment. And so it's something that's just very dear to my heart to see just very healthy, stable family environments. And then, of course, I always talk about into the future to have, when you're talking about healthy tribal nations, it really does start in the home. And I always say, you know, the most amount of impact we're ever going to have in our lifetimes is going to happen within the walls of our home. And so that's why I put the emphasis there. And so, but it's really nice to be up here, our first time here, and just getting to know the place and just being introduced to different peoples and different entities. It's wonderful so far. So thank you for having us.
Well,
What a-
welcome, and I'm sure you were looking forward to the minus 20-degree weather and putting half the snow.
Yeah, we got bundled up for sure when we arrived here. I just wanted to conclude by saying too that I think in all tribal communities, really in America today, you know, high rates of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, even cancer. And some would equate that from coming from what we eat and our foods, you know. We have teamed up with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine to highlight some of the great health and wellness projects that are happening in Indian country. You know, we were the first peoples on this land. And so there were first foods here as well. You know, down in the south, southwest and the west, our food we grew food, you know, Three Sisters, corn, beans, and squash. And those are the most healthiest foods. And same here in this region. You know, we were introduced to the food sovereignty program, which is a great program. I wanted to highlight and just reincorporating our indigenous foods, because food is medicine, right? And we had the opportunity to work with NCAI, which you all are part of, and other tribal organizations throughout the country to highlight in this dialogue for the U.S. Dietary Guidelines for Americans. It happens every 5 years. And lo and behold, that process did not have a tribal consultation effort. And so we raised the awareness, and we just said, hey, we're going to interject ourselves into that process anyway. And lo and behold, we got a lot of support, and we did make sure that the Dietary Advisory Committee know about the foods in our community, indigenous foods in our community. And lo and behold, we put beans and lentils back into the primary food group, took away milk off the plate and put water back on the my plate. But of course, we'll probably receive heavy lobby from the dairy industry and others about that. But it'll be up to the new administration coming in. And we're hopeful that, you know, we gave the new administration, even the previous administration, a glimpse into the health and wellness movements that are happening in Indian country. And I just want to say, you all are doing great here. We saw firsthand the projects that you all are doing, and also with the health facilities here too, and their work with Chelsea and others. So I think down the road, there's going to be a lot more opportunities for Washington, D.C. To see that healthy foods and indigenous leaders can bring a healthy tomorrow, not just for tribal communities, but for all Americans. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, thank you. And definitely welcome. Thank you, Chelsea. Sam, any questions or remarks?
For you. We've got some wraps back in the back of the room. Really sorry, I forgot to grab water. So I think you guys have a water pitcher back here. It was quite a morning. Trying to get everything arranged with people getting frozen in their trucks. We're gonna have hot soup.
But there's food.
And we'll adjourn then.